Uh-oh, I had myself on mute, guys. That really doesn't help, does it? I had myself on mute. This whole time I've been chatting. This whole time I've been chatting and I had myself on mute. How is it going, everyone? Everything A-okay? See, still trying to figure out this one laptop, what single screen jazz. How's everyone doing though? FP3 right ahead of us, about to start. We have a green track, no rain, it is dry, and I guess I'll have to go through that whole rigmarole that I was just saying to myself. At least I practiced it before going live for you guys, I guess. Hey James, and Francesca, good to see you. Titik, man, good to see you guys. Welcome everyone. Let me know if the background music, of course, as well is a reasonable level for you all. If it's a bit too loud, I can turn it down. Or if it's not loud enough, I can turn it up. But yes, as I was saying, as we have drivers heading down to the end of the pit lane there, as we are only moments away from FP3 getting underway, we should hopefully see a true barometer of where the performance of the cars and the drivers are. However, the teams are... So what I'm hearing from the weather reports, which is really important here this weekend, is that we have green lights. FP3 is underway as Max Verstappen, who has got a repaired Red Bull after those issues in FP2 yesterday, and very limited running on the Friday, who will be wanting to get the most out of this practice session. We have potentially rain coming this afternoon for qualifying. And then we have a dry race on Sunday. So do teams risk setting the car up for qualifying? Well, we know qualifying is more important now, and run a higher downforce setup? Or do they run a lower downforce setup? The risk, of course, of losing control of the car, hardly any room for error here at this circuit. There's really a decision that needs to be made by the teams, and you could tremendously get it wrong. So being on pole position on qualifying, of course it's important, but on the end of today, if you've dramatically set your car up for rain, for wet weather conditions, you are going to be praying to the gods that it rains on Sunday, because otherwise I think you'll be a sitting duck with those running slightly less downforce, with, of course, the DRS that is available here at Canada. The track is not wet at the moment, Demon. No, we have dry running for this FP3 session, but it is on its way this afternoon in Canada, supposedly. So we're most likely going to have a wet qualifying session. But this is interesting for us viewers, because yesterday was really kind of hit and miss. We didn't see drivers. There was a lot of rain, drying track. We didn't really get a true insight into who's quickest here. The Ferraris have always gone well historically at Canada. Of course, we know that Red Bull are always quick, kind of generally here as well. As Max Verstappen really pushing the limits of this car, stepping the car out as he's trying to get that track time in that he was so devoid of yesterday. They seem to have repaired the car. They were using the old engine yesterday apparently, and now they've put the new engine in. But it could mean that he could potentially get a penalty, I think, if they have to change the battery one more time. So qualifying is in a few hours time this afternoon, Manuel, or this evening, wherever you are in the world. It's about 3.5 hours, I think. 3.5 hours away, 4 hours even, something like that. It's quite a long time. Where's this remote location? I'll tell you when I get back from it, Blazzy. But it's I'm just on a family holiday. I'm just on a holiday with the missus. So taking I got permission from the missus to do these watchalongs. So family holiday, yes, family holiday. Hamilton did great in these practice sessions. Yeah, I still take what we saw yesterday with a pinch of salt. I'm not really looking into much. We're going to see drivers going out there now and set proper lap times. So, I mean, Logan Sargent just set purple in the first and second sets, but that was taken away by Gasly. But we're going to see a very busy track. And I just do wonder what setups they're going to be running. What setups, because rain is forecast for qualifying. As Max had a... And Max reporting, I don't know why, but the whole weekend already, this steering, super weird for me. It had a big wobble for the World Champions and had to take avoiding action and run over the curbs. So Max Verstappen, of course, who had those car issues yesterday where the mechanics were working throughout the night and he didn't get really any running in FP2, is not happy with the car straight away. So Red Bull are having to really work for it at the moment. They haven't had a simple weekend in setting up the car since before Miami, have they really? They've struggled at Miami, struggled at Imola. Of course, Max dug deep and put in a great performance to get the win there. Monaco, of course, we know how that went. So, yeah. Hello, Mrs. DRS zones. Yeah, there's 2 DRS zones here, core. So there is the first one. There's 3, I think. I think there's 3. There is the one down the start-finish straight, which is from turn 14, the last corner, down to turn 1, or just before turn 1. Then there's another one out of turn 7 to turn 8, where really there's not a lot of overtaking. That's more of just a positioning DRS there to get close up for the next DRS activation zone, which is just before the hairpin, turn 10. And then, of course, the most prominent overtaking, prominent place to overtake here at this circuit is down into the Wall of Champions chicane, which is down the back straight to turn 13. We do sometimes see the odds overtake into turn 10 as there's a yellow. Lando Norris, is that Guan Yu Zhou? What's happened here? I think Norris is coming out the pit lane. Has Zhou lost it again? Zhou's in the barrier again, guys. Guan Yu is in the barrier and is stuck. He's broken his rear wing, and that is a red flag. Zhou Guan Yu has brought out the red flag for the second time this weekend. Oh, God, not a good... Really, really not good for Zhou Guan Yu. Really not good. I don't really know what to say. It's just... how has he lost control of the car there? So exactly where his car is on the pretty much the apex of turn 1, he must have lost it on entry to turn 1, taken too much speed, and the car's gone round in itself. I mean, it will be repairable, but the stake engineers, after he broke his front left suspension yesterday in FP1, after the rain delay, has now brought out the red flag again. So just watching the replay, what exactly happened? So he's heading down into turn 1. And, oh wow, the rear... I mean, I don't know if that's driver error, if that's just the car being very unbalanced. It looks like he took the apex absolutely fine. Unless he got on throttle too early, but it looked like the car just... I have no idea what's happening with the car. The car is so strange, man. It just locks all up there is. Yeah, I have to agree with Zhou there that just looked like a normal entry into turn 1. And the rear of the car just didn't settle. And as he's getting back onto throttle, as they normally do, the car's just gone round on itself. It's very odd. So that car, of course, which suffered damage yesterday morning, but to the front end, not the rear end. Stake F1 really struggling with that car. I do kind of fail to see what Zhou Guan Yu has done wrong there, to be honest. It seemed like he did everything right, unless he's really stepped on the throttle. But it didn't look... It was kind of a laboured spin, to be, if I'm being honest. So, but yeah, that's the red flag very early in this session, which a lot of these drivers will not be happy about because they had very limited running yesterday. I'm remote at this weekend, Timo. So no webcam. We tried it yesterday. I'm on my laptop. So yeah, I'm on hotel Wi-Fi. So the signal is not great. So that's why if you blow this image up on a big screen, it might look a little bit not as crisp as it normally does because I've had to really reduce the bit rate. So I don't have my super duper fast internet that I have at home. So yeah, the practice sessions yesterday were a bit of trial and error, and ensuring that we could get a decent quality stream for the qualifying and the race session on Sunday, which is of course where it matters. Why a red flag? Zhou Guanyu just brought it out. Just crashed into turn 2. I don't imagine it'll be out for long. There's not really any damage. It was kind of a very slow spin, but it's definitely something wrong with that car. I'd love to hear the throttle inputs of that car, but it just seemed like as he took the apex, the rear of the car just didn't really settle. It didn't want to settle, and then it just came around on itself. Zhou Guanyu reported that the rear's locked up, so maybe that was the case, and that's why it turned round on itself. Mechanical issue maybe, but I didn't quite see that from just a couple of images that we saw. Who's the fastest round right now? Well, you can see at the top of your timing sheets, it is Gasly and Ocon. But take that with a massive pinch of salt, because they won't be there at the top by the end. But what this is doing for us though, guys, while of course it's not giving us... So just watching Zhou Guanyu again, guys, apologies one more time, just before we do make our point. That's very odd. That's a very, very odd spin from Zhou, yeah. He's reporting that the rear brake's locked up. But he took an absolutely normal... I mean, it almost looked like the car just didn't settle and was still bobbing about, bouncing about as he went through that apex. So maybe it's him getting on... Maybe it is a driver error. I don't know. I'd have to hear the throttle inputs. But we have a green track again, though, guys. A green track again. And drivers will be out on track very soon. But what this is doing for us, guys, this has given us very limited running, or the guys very limited running for this weekend, which is going to provide some unpredictability for us as race fans. So it's almost like a sprint race weekend, really, where they only have one practice session. I can't imagine they gathered too much relevant data from the sessions yesterday. And now I've had an interrupted session here, but only for like a few minutes. But yeah, we'll see drivers hastily make their way around the circuit in this FP3 session. But Matt's already reporting he's not feeling comfortable in the car with steering issues, which is a new one. So Alpine going to be on pole. Slightly grainy on a 42-inch monitor, but no biggie. Yeah, no, I appreciate you still tuning in. I appreciate you guys for still tuning in, and as I said, I might even get more viewers, considering you won't have to look at my ugly mug this weekend. But do not fear, I will be back in a couple of weeks' time, of course, for the next watch along, where we have a triple header, don't we? We have a busy couple of weeks, or busy 5 or 6 weeks, I think it is, before the summer break. I think we have 5 races in 6 weeks. So we go from a triple header to a double header, and then we have the 4-week break. So, evening Alex, evening Union, good to see you. Talking of spring weekend, when is the next sprint weekend? It is Red Bull. So we head to Barcelona next, and then we head to, in between Barcelona, in the middle of that triple header, we have the Red Bull Ring, which is a sprint race weekend. Am I on holiday mode? I am on holiday mode, Anthony, yeah. You can't see, but I've already had about 3 rum and cokes here. Zhou doing his best to make it unpredictable, yeah. My absolute pleasure, Dan. My absolute pleasure. Yes, it's our chance, our opportunity to sit back, have a bit more of a chilled one, have a back and forth. I can give you my my terrible takes of F1, and we can have a chat as an F1 community. Whereas obviously qualifying and the race is a bit more obviously myself commentating, but we still have a back and forth, which is good. Which is interesting actually. A bit of news that's been coming out is it's not confirmed, but it is set to, in air quotes. Toto Wolff has kind of all but confirmed that Kimi Antonelli is going to be in that second Mercedes seat alongside George Russell next year, which kind of makes sense considering the amount of time and effort they've been putting into testing for him. I think he was testing the car again this week. So yeah, they really highly rate Kimi Antonelli, and they want to put him in there a year before the new regs come out in 26. So it's a bold call by Mercedes, but it's obviously why Sainz is not going to be able to get that, or he's not taking that seat. So Verstappen jumps to the top of the timing sheets with a 15.495. So we'll probably see drivers run a mix of some long runs here in the early stages, and then maybe we'll get some quali runs at the end. But I'm not as I said. I think with rain coming this afternoon, how relevant are the short runs going to be? Those quali runs. Lando for the win. He's definitely got a possibility here. Definitely got a possibility. But yeah, guys, if you're just tuning in, thank you very much, Artemis. Yep, seeing a few more of you tuning in as we are, well, 15 minutes nearly into this FP3. If you're just joining us, Zhou Guanyu did bring out the red flag for a very short period of time after losing control of the car and putting it in the barrier at turn 2. A very strange one, really, for a driver to lose it there. So we'll see what the reasons for it were, but yeah, it was only a short red flag, so drivers will back out on track pretty quickly, and I think Zhou Guanyu hasn't done too much damage to that car either, so it was quite a light hit, but it did look like the rear wing was slightly broken. But yeah, if you can hit the like and subscribe button, guys, it'd be much appreciated. Get this stream to over 100 likes. Let's see if we could do that for a practice session. It's always a good aim, and we're aiming to get to 25,000 subscribers this weekend. That'd be absolutely amazing. Keep this community growing that we've got here. Max has a problem. Does he? I don't think so. I mean, he's already reported. Yeah, I mean, he has reported he's not liking the steering. It feels weird already. Alonso likes it here, by the way. He's pushing on this lap. Let's see what time he does. Purple in the first sector on a set of brand new hards, and he goes second on a set of hards. That's not too bad from Alonso. 15.7. He had a podium here last year, remember? He's one to keep an eye on if it does rain this afternoon. He's a bit of a wizard in the rain, as is Lewis Hamilton also, who'll probably, the Mercedes and the Aston Martin, as we mentioned yesterday, they'll be looking to, well, they'll be doing their rain dances, I imagine, after this practice session, because it's the only way they're really going to get on pole position or have an opportunity of winning a race this year, I think, is if there is rain. Oh, as Alex Albon takes an excursion through turn 8, as I just saw there. So there wasn't a yellow flag for it, but lots of drivers struggling with the turn in at turn 8 this weekend. Maybe that'll be a feature that we see in the race on Sunday, as Max Verstappen goes fastest again. Really trying to lay down some lap times here. How's Ferrari getting on? Not really too much to say about Ferrari at the moment. 13th and 15th, just doing their own thing, doing some long runs by the looks of it. Probably top the car up with fuel. I think we will get an idea of proper pace at the end of this session, though, with some practice, with some quali runs maybe. Rebel wants Max to sign Checo, no competition. I think that's I think that's one of the reasons they've kept him on. Yeah. I still don't think it's the be all and end all, though. I still think that Max could leave in for 26. If the rumours are true that the Ford engine is not great, then they will. I think Max will be looking to go to Mercedes, who are putting all the rumours out there. Really, they're leaking quite a bit of information that they're feeling comfortable with their car, so, or with the engine. With these new regs, of course, the aero is important, but it's more so how the engine performs if you don't have a good engine. And who dominated the last engine change? That was Mercedes. So with the hybrid era that we're currently in, Alonso going fastest again in the first sector. That Aston Martin looks really good in the first sector. Let's keep an eye out on Alonso here. He is on a set of hard tyres, but you can see how much kind of the times are changing. Magnussen in second, Stroll third, Gasly fourth, Albon fifth, Alonso sixth. Imagine if that was the top 10 tomorrow, guys. Excluding Max Verstappen, but Alonso fastest on a set of hard tyres. Interesting. So Sargent up there in fourth, but still yet to see. I mean, you can see there Hamilton, Perez, Russell, Leclerc, Sainz. They've all just been doing some long runs. Not too long though, kind of mid runs is what I would call it. Who do I think the Grand Prix? I really can't tell at the moment. I really can't tell. With the changing weather conditions, we don't know what the weather's going to be like. I think could we get a shock? I don't know. I still think we're going to see the cream rise to the top with the likes of Red Bull, McLaren and Ferrari fighting it out for the win. Who will win though? I don't know. If there's rain, it could be anyone. Aston Martin and Mercedes, as we've just mentioned, they could be hoping for. They'll be hoping for rain. And if there is rain, then it kind of nullifies that performance. It's more on the driver than it is the car. And yeah, but Aston at the moment do look comfortable. I will say Aston do look comfortable. Cutting the grass, yeah. It's an expensive mower, that Williams car. Does the rumour of Max taking 26 have any credibility? It does, Sophia, yes. So the rumours are, of course, that Mercedes want Max, and why wouldn't you, I guess? But also the rumours are is that the Verstappen camp are just keeping their options open, like any good driver does. They always keep their options open, no matter how long they've been at a team, because they want to be in the fastest car. They want to be in the best team. And at the moment, Red Bull is the best team, even with, okay, the last few races. But overall, they're still the team to beat. So why would he leave now and next year to go? Like, he's still got a great opportunity to win a championship this year and next year. Why would he leave now? But 2026 is a different ball game, and the rumours are that Ford, who will be becoming, of course, who are the engine manufacturer with Red Bull, they're struggling. They're really struggling, and that's coming from sources inside of Red Bull. And Ford have kind of alluded to similar things as well in some comments they've made in the press. So that is why they are staying in contact with Mercedes, because Mercedes dominated the last engine period, and Honda, of course, are leaving Red Bull and going to Aston Martin. So maybe Aston Martin might be a place that he's looking at, but Alonso, we know, has got a contract there. If Stroll left, I imagine Aston Martin would throw so much money at Max Verstappen. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, one Aston. Yeah, one Aston. Well, Stroll is in third. But then again, he's half a second behind on the same tyre, isn't he? Alonso setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Is Alonso just going for glory runs here, which he likes to do? Or is this genuine pace from Alonso? This is a track where I feel like the driver element is more important than it is elsewhere, because of how aggressive you have to be, because of the nature of the exit, of the chicanes, like you get really close to the wall. You think Aston's taken, so a friend of mine thinks Aston have taken fuel out of the car. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me they're going for a few glory runs. It's been a while since they've been at the top of the timing sheets, and is there a better place to do it than at the home circuit of one of their drivers, the owner of the team? Yuki to Aston. Do we think? No, I don't think so. Maybe in the future, but not while Alonso's still there. Lance Stroll's not going anywhere, we know that. But Lando now showing a bit of pace. Okay, McLarens, that's what we want to see. We want to see some true pace, no sandbagging. Both Ferraris are in the pits. Under 40 minutes remaining of this session. Still yet to see much from Perez. Still much to see from the Mercedes team as well. They're just out there doing some long runs. Who else do we got to keep an eye on at the moment? Danny Ricciardo needs a good weekend, doesn't he? Still being outperformed by Yuki Tsunoda. Of course, with Jacques Villeneuve's comments yesterday on Sky Sports, have got a lot of traction online. I would say there is a chance of an Alonso pole if there is rain this afternoon. If we get a wet qualifying session, I think anything could happen. Like, genuinely, we could see a shock front row if it is proper rain. Because we saw the chaos that there was last year as well in qualifying. So, yeah, anything could happen. But then this is the dilemma that the teams have at the moment is, I mean, I don't know does anyone know what the forecast is for Montreal tomorrow? Does anyone have a forecast in chat? Stream lagging a bit. It seems to be okay my end. But I do apologise if it does lag a little bit. It will only be temperamental because we are on hotel Wi-Fi, unfortunately. What will happen to George if Max goes to Mercedes? Well, that will be it. I think genuinely in the future, I think we'll see a Verstappen, Kimi Antonelli lineup. And I think George Russell could be out of a seat at Mercedes. I think the pressure is all on George Russell now next year. Where he probably thought, oh, I'm going to be comfortable number one, and there might be a bit of pressure taken off of him. I think the pressure is all back on George Russell next year because of the rumours of Max Verstappen. Yeah, I don't think they would get rid of Kimi Antonelli for Max Verstappen. What they think Kimi Antonelli is their Max Verstappen. That's why they're putting so much time and effort into him and his development. So. Hey Rob, qualifying's not until this evening my time, so I think it's, so what we got, I think it's 3 hours from now, 3.5 hours from now, something around that, my maths is a bit off at the moment. Race time tomorrow, race is, good question, I only know at UK time, I think it's 2 o'clock. Isn't it normally 2 or 3 o'clock their time? Local time, I think it is. Dry with possible occasional light showers tomorrow. Interesting, Peter. Interesting. Yeah. So this is what the teams have at the moment. As Hamilton's reporting, the wind has picked up, which is does affect the cars around here with the high speeds that they're travelling at. It's very difficult for the teams because do they set up, of course, with Parc Fermé, do they set up the car for qualifying or do they just set it up for the race? But then they're at risk of being out of position in qualifying, and we do. But it is easier to overtake here, really. So if you've got a draggy car, yeah, there could be some jeopardy in qualifying this afternoon. I'm really intrigued how the teams are going to go about it. It's Daniel Ricciardo, after all the talk that he got from Jacques Villeneuve yesterday, asking why he's kind of still in F1. Up in P2, point to prove. Thanks, Arsenal. Weather monitor tomorrow indicates scattered thunderstorms and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Chance of rain 60%. So we're most likely going to get a changing weather condition race then. Interesting. We'll see. Lewis Hamilton leaving and save Merckx, having to make a tough decision with Kimi. George Russell has to show out next year or back. Yes, yeah. I think all the pressure's back on George, isn't it? All the pressure's back on George next year, where he thought he might got a bit of respite. But being in a team like Mercedes, you're always going to get a top tier driver in that team. But with him, he'll be the number one driver, but he'll know that if he doesn't perform, then it's more likely that his seat will be the one that will be in jeopardy for Max Verstappen, if they can get him. By the way, this is still if they can get Max. But a lot rides on whether or not Ford can get their act together and actually make a decent engine. But you know damn well, Max, that camp, they won't be waiting around. They won't be waiting around whatsoever if the Ford engine is not good for 1 year in 26. You know he'll have a get out clause in his contract. That is for sure. This is multi-viewer, Noah. Hey, Taco, good to see you, mate. I think that the new engine report has come in will surprise a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, look, there's still time for them to sort it out. They've still got a couple of years. I don't know when they have to submit like plans and stuff like that, but yeah, ultimately there's still 2 years for them to get their act together, or a year and a half, isn't there? So why was everyone in the pit? Because drivers are probably making setup changes. They're probably taking fuel out of the car, putting fuel back in it. We have 2 soft runners out there at the moment, Carlos Sainz and Logan Sargent. Leclerc seems to be on a set of medium tyres still, so yeah. But at the moment, I mean, I still wouldn't take the timings and the order that we've got here. I wouldn't look too much into it because quite evidently the Ferraris and the Mercedes have been just doing some long runs, so has Perez. Verstappen wanting to get out. I mean, he's been kind of doing some relatively long runs as well, same as Norris. Aston Martin's probably taken some fuel out of the car, setting those times on hards. So Alpine is sandbagging. They wish they were sandbagging. No given. Do I think George knows he's probably out of seat Mercedes? I think he knows his position. I wouldn't say he's out of a seat at Mercedes. It's up for him to prove to Toto Wolff that he deserves to stay and that he genuinely is a world championship contender, a driver championship contender. That's what he needs to do. As do not fear, guys. Take this in, soak this in. Logan Sargeant has gone purple in the first and second. Oh, I take that back. He was briefly fastest in the first and second sector as Carlos Sainz has just taken it away from him. But Logan Sargeant is going to go to the top of the timing sheets, I believe. Is it for the first time in his career ever Logan Sargeant is at the top of a timing sheet in an F1 session? Oh my God. Oh my God, nearly just falling off my chair here, guys. Don't think it's going to last for very long because Carlos Sainz is going to come across the start-finish line now unless he's made a mistake through the last chicane. But, oh my God. Oh my God. Logan Sargeant is faster than a Ferrari. What? Yes, guys, if you're just joining us, your eyes are not deceiving you. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Sargeant purple. So that's an interesting one as well, isn't it? Supposedly, so James Vowles came out yesterday, I think it was, and someone rightly tweeted. He said the quiet bit out loud, and he said but that he wants 2 world-class drivers. He wants 2 top drivers in his team, and of course he's signed Alex Albon. And it is highly rumoured that with 2 weeks until the next race, which is Barcelona, that Carlos Sainz will be announced as a Williams driver for 2025. That's kind of like the only seat remaining for him. Of course, Audi is as well, but he's waited too long for that, really. And even if they were offering you a bucket load of cash, why would you go to Audi at the moment, stake F1? They're definitely not a team that's kind of on the up, are they? At least Williams will have that Mercedes engine in 2026, and they do seem to be obviously this year struggling a bit more, but you'd think under James Vowles that they'll be going more in the right direction as George Russell is now sitting fastest on the soft compound tyre. So we are going to see, I think, some quali runs happening now. It's still half an hour left. It's still quite early to be on the soft tyre. I don't think the soft tyre is really a compound that's used. Is the soft tyre? I think no. Is the soft tyre used on race day? I can't remember, guys. Please let me know in chat if the soft tyre is a compound that is used on race day at Canada. I really cannot remember. So, Logan dominance might bore fans. I know. Imagine. You know what's interesting there? Of course, we don't know fuel loads, but Russell's only gone fastest there by 0.07 of a second, less than a tenth. Is the Williams, we know the Williams has always gone well at low downforce circuits. Has the Williams got a bit of pace here? Let's see, Alex Albon seems to have made him quite a dramatic mistake in the first sector of 30.1, and yeah, he's backed out of the second sector. So we'll see if Albon's able to show us if that Williams genuinely can get its way up the grid this weekend. But thank you to everyone for joining for this FP3. Over 1,000 of you in this stream. If you're just tuning in and you're regulars to this stream, I'm on holiday at the moment, so I'm streaming remotely. Hence why you can't see my beautiful face this weekend. Some of you will be thinking, "Thank God for that." But for those of you that aren't, yeah, that's the reason why this stream looks a little bit different than normal, and is maybe a little bit intermittent sometimes as well with stream quality. I do apologise, we were on the hotel Wi-Fi, but normal service will be resumed in a few weeks' time when we head back for that triple header at Barcelona, Red Bull Ring and Silverstone. If you could hit the like and subscribe button, it'd be much appreciated if you're new here. And if you're a returning viewer and you still haven't done so, what's taking you so long? Hit that subscribe button. But under half an hour now left of this FP3 session. Really, the only thing to make note of is that Zhou Guanyu brought out the red flag within the first 10 minutes as he lost control of the car through turn 1. Didn't provide too much damage to his car, but looks like that he might struggle to get back out in this session. But you can see Alex Albon, as there's some quali runs happening now, lots more drivers on soft tyres there that you can see. Alex Albon going quite quick as Bottas is basically stationary through the last corner there to allow Alex Albon to come past as he's gone purple in the second sector. Let's see where Albon goes. And Albon goes to the top of the timing sheets, just under 4 tenths faster than his teammates, Logan Sargent in P3 there. But we can see Charles Leclerc is on a quali run now, purple in the first and second sector. This is truly the first time we're going to see drivers and their performance, as Hamilton's gone fastest through the first sector, which is interesting. But Yuki might have got in the way through that second chicane. But let's see, as Charles Leclerc heads into the last chicane, we've seen lots of drivers lock up here and take avoiding action through the wall of champions. And Charles Leclerc is going to go to the top of the timing sheets with a 1:13.5. 4 tenths quicker than Albon, as Sainz goes, well, not a good lap from Sainz. He had a big mistake in the middle sector, it seems. So he kind of had to back out there. 3 tenths, lost 3 tenths in that middle sector. But let's keep an eye on Hamilton. He's purple in the first and second sector here. And Lewis, has he found something at a circuit where he's had really good success in the past? He's really loved by the Canadian fans, it seems. So here we go. And Hamilton is fastest, guys, by over a tenth from Charles Leclerc. 13.4 from Lewis Hamilton, fastest in the first and second sector, slightly slower in the last. But for you Mercedes fans, that is good going for Lewis Hamilton. Of course, we don't know fuel loads. Maybe it's still a bit too early for quali runs, but that is that bodes well. That bodes well for Mercedes and for Lewis Hamilton. Half a second quicker than George Russell as well, who did a quali lap. So, the old guard doing quite well here, of course, showing their experience at a circuit where being on the limits and going over that limit, there's not really any room for error. As Sargent does improve and goes fastest in the last sector. Interesting. So that Williams, I'll tell you what, could be a bit of a roadblock. If you get stuck behind that Williams here this weekend, it looks like it's got a lot of pace, a lot of top speed, and come race day, well, yeah, you want to be qualifying. If you're the likes of Aston Martin, you're the likes of the Haas, the RB team, Alpine, that midfield, if you want to get a decent result here, you need to qualify ahead of those Williams because they are quick in a straight line. And we know that DRS is not as powerful as it used to be, so which is interesting. Why is my chat stopped? I was like, everyone's being quite quiet. Everyone's being quite quiet. I was like, no one reacted to Lewis Hamilton going to the top. That's not like my chat. That's not like my chat seeing Lewis Hamilton at the top of the timing sheets. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton at the top there. Norris nearly beat him with 1/100th of a second slower. So that is, I think that might be genuine pace from the Mercedes. That might be genuine pace. We still don't know, of course, fuel loads. Maybe Norris and Leclerc still running a little bit more fuel just to hide their true pace. But that's pretty decent, isn't it? Pretty decent as Ricciardo goes 6th. So anyone else out there at the moment on a proper lap? We're still yet to see Perez do a proper quick lap. He's been doing long runs, which is why he's down in 19th, the newly re-signed Red Bull driver. Likewise with Max Verstappen, just doing long runs, trying to gather the data, maybe dial in the setup. Of course, he had very limited running in FP2 yesterday with that battery issue, which was smoking. So we don't know anything until the last 3 minutes of the session. Yeah, exactly. Mercedes had to figure it out eventually. It's only been, what, 2.5 years? I don't know. Mercedes lure you in. I'm still not convinced, guys. Mercedes have a habit of luring you into an FP3 session or a practice session, and then they tinker around with something, or they just, like, the other teams are not running enough, are running like more fuel than them, and then it just ends up them being further down the grid than we were hoping for. So I'm taking this all with a pinch of salt. I'm taking this whole practice session with a pinch of salt because of the uniqueness of us having obviously a wet qualifying tomorrow, this afternoon, and also an intermittent race tomorrow as well, with the weather conditions, supposedly 60% chance of rain, as you inform me, guys. So The old people showing is the boss. How consistent are Max's 19 laps on mediums? To be honest, I don't know. I haven't been paying too much attention to the long runs here, if I'm being totally honest with you. So, right, so what have we got? Let's have a look who's on a fast lap at the moment. Alonso out there still on the mediums. Lando Norris going for another lap, but on a set of used tyres, set of used softs. Hamilton's still out there now as well. So they've all kind of done their quick lap and they're just out there doing their runs. We've still got Perez in the pit. We've got Ocon in the pit still. Zhou, of course, has had that tangle with the barrier into turn 2. Piastri, where's Piastri? How's Piastri getting on? Not a great lap from him. Maybe affected by traffic. Likewise with Sainz as well. Down there, just running 7 laps. I think these drivers basically just they had 1 lap and then they've basically just running some laps now, doing kind of a long run after that initial quick lap. So Lewis has won 7 times here. Is it that many? I knew he'd won here a lot. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of times. Where is the sound? The sound's here. The sound is here. I'm here. There is no car sounds. There is no obviously image, because that would be copyright infringement, guys. So that's why we do it this way. But Charles Leclerc there improving in the last sector last time around, as Ricciardo goes fastest in the last sector, but toe assisted with Carlos Sainz. So take that with a pinch of salt also. But maybe Charles Leclerc also got a toe from Lance Stroll. But yeah, a lot of emphasis this afternoon, and well, I think this whole weekend could rely on whether you get your setup right or not. If you have too much of a draggy setup, which will help you in the wet but won't help you in the dry conditions, yeah, it could be a difficult weekend for you. I think we're going to see some teams get it bang on and some teams get it very wrong. I imagine, they'll be eyeing up the weather forecast, that is for sure, depending on looking at whether they put more downforce on or if they take some off. So we'll see. We want the face cam back, Sid. Next time, not this weekend, buddy. Not this weekend. I'm very limited with the quality, with things that I can do with the stream this weekend because I'm remote. I'm on holiday at the moment, so I'm on hotel Wi-Fi. But there's still 1,200 of you in this stream for this practice session, so it still shows how much you guys love F1 and enjoy these watch-alongs in my commentary, and I love having a back and forth with you all as well. So yeah, I'd much appreciate it if you could hit the like button, guys. If you could subscribe, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. We're trying to get that subscriber count to 25,000. We're only a couple of hundred away, so it'd be much appreciated to hit what will be another great milestone for this channel. It will be thanks to you guys. So surprised everyone teams don't have HUD helmets like fighter pilots. It would be expensive, but imagine if the driver's in information controlled. Yeah, I think that would, yeah, potentially, maybe in the future, but I don't think a lot of teams would like, I don't know if the teams would like it. I think they just want them to focus on driving. They rely on their engineer anyway, so... Oh, who slowed up there? There was a Ferrari or a Haas. Was there someone going very slow on the right-hand side? Logan Sargent not happy with Lewis Hamilton and another driver also who was going to slow down the back straight. There's a couple of groundhogs on the side of the circuit. Please stay out of the way, groundhogs. Please stay out of the way. We don't want any casualties. What is Perez doing? Probably dialing in setup. I don't know. I'm looking at TV coverage and I haven't seen any footage of Sergio Perez in the pit lane, in the garage. So everything must be okay with the car. Of course, Verstappen had issues yesterday, but probably just making changes to the setup, maybe prepping the car for some quali runs. We are heading into that range now as there's a lot of drivers in the pits, so we'll probably see drivers come out and do some quali runs with the last 15 minutes of this practice session. The colours of the sector's green. Yes, yeah. So purple means fastest overall. So at the moment we have Lewis Hamilton at the top of the timing sheets, behind, just in front of Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Danny Ricciardo up there in P4, Piastri P5, the two Williams drivers 6th and 7th, Sainz 8th, Russell 9th, Tsunoda 10th. And then, to be honest guys, look, Friday was very affected by the weather conditions. The teams probably didn't get the data that they wanted. So that's why you've seen Max Verstappen do 20 laps on the set of mediums. Perez as well, Gasly, Ocon, all doing long runs. The teams that have gone on to softs earlier might indicate the teams that are comfortable with their setups, comfortable with the data they've gathered already, compared to those like the Aston Martins, the Red Bulls, the Alpines, Haas. So that could be an indication here of the teams who feel confident going into qualifying this afternoon and the race on Sunday, compared to those who, like Alonso, Stroll, the ones we've just mentioned. Lewis looking strong again. Wonder how much time we'll drop. Exactly, Connor. Yeah, I'm taking Hamilton at the top of the timing sheets. I'm kind of ignoring he's there. It's great to see him up there, but we know this with Mercedes. They lure us in. And then something changes. I mean, they're probably running less fuel than McLaren and Ferrari, or they make a tweak to the setup between qualifying. I'm still taking it with a pinch of salt, but I still think the Mercedes need a wet qualifying. I still think they need a wet track to have an opportunity of being on pole position and winning this race this weekend. So within some hours, we'll see Verstappen ahead of everyone else. Potentially, Marianne, potentially. But I think it's still up in the air. I genuinely think that we have got like a 3-team battle now up front. And I wouldn't be able to pinpoint where pole position is going to come from now. Well, I know where it's going to come. I think I know where it's going to come from, those 3 teams, but I couldn't pinpoint who. So that's fair, man. That's fair that we all have our favourite drivers. But we won't tolerate any proper slander. We can have a joke and a bit of a banter in chat, but we won't tolerate any slander to any driver. I have my own preferences as well, but that's what it's about. All being fair and respectful. Are we going to see a vid on the new regs? Probably not, Taco. No, not right now. I've kind of missed the boat, really, with the new regs. I am not back until next weekend from my holidays, so there won't be any video in that regards. But I'll pop out some. I mean, the new regs as well. Apparently, there's a meeting that's going to be happening with the teams and the FIA. They still want to have some revisions made to those regs. So yeah, what we've seen announced this week by the FIA is not the final product by any means. So race is tomorrow, Jan. Race is tomorrow. George Russell fastest in the middle sector there. So let's keep an eye on George Russell as he is improving. A 23.1. That's quite fast through the second sector there. I think that's the fastest we've seen. Well, it's definitely the fastest we've seen, but I think by about 2 tenths that George Russell's gone fastest in the middle sector there. So let's see how he gets on through the Wall of Champions. Looks like he's made it through pretty comfortably as Max Verstappen coming out of the pit lane onto a set of soft tyres. And George Russell knocked his teammate off the top of the timing sheets with a 13.2. But we are now starting to see drivers come out of the pit lane onto a brand new set of softs, as we are now going to see some quali runs, guys. This is where practice gets interesting. Let's see if Max Verstappen has sorted out the issues that he's had with the car. How fast is he compared to the likes of Ferrari and McLaren? Are Ferrari and McLaren going to come out and even do some quali runs? Or are they just going to hide the performance that they potentially have here this weekend? Don't get happy with like Stroll, to be honest, doesn't deserve his seat. Or, well, yeah, we know that F1's very expensive. Motorsport is expensive anyway. Very, very few people, a very small percentage of people make it in motorsport without some form of financial assistance, whether that be because you're fortunate enough to have, obviously, family to support you, or sponsors, a team, etc. Oh, as Alex Albon hit the Wall of Champions quite hard. How has he not wrecked the car? Oh my God, Alex Albon sideswiped the World of Champions. Turn 14, guys. How is that Williams still intact? Is the steering off? I'm not sure. I think he's done damage to that car. He is trudging round back to the pit. Alex Albon is going very slowly. I don't know if he's done damage to that suspension. I'll be very surprised if he hasn't. He is going very slow. It looks like the front right might be a bit off. I'm not sure. But Alex Albon, just watching it again now, as he heads through the Wall of Champions. Oh, I think the right rear, he slammed the right rear, stepped out the rear of the car and hit the Wall of Champions. He's going very slowly because he doesn't want to damage the car any further. Just watching the replay now, and oh, is it? I think he's broken the suspension. Yeah, yeah. Alex Albon's broken the right rear suspension of the car and is trudging round back to the pit lane. But while that is happening, Hamilton, as you are rightly spotting, guys, in chat, is going fastest everywhere. Purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector. The first man to go sub 23 seconds in that second sector. Let's see what he does at the end of this FP3 as Verstappen goes second fastest. So not the fastest time, not the Supreme Verstappen, but we used to see him. As Lewis does a what? A 12.5? What? 7 tenths faster? Okay, that's a true qualifying run there from Lewis Hamilton. That is fuel out of the car. Max Verstappen probably still has fuel in the car, but wow, that is a great lap there from Lewis Hamilton, setting down a marker. Let's see if Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris can respond, and Piastri as well. But yeah, if that at the end of this practice session, if Hamilton's still up there, then maybe Mercedes still do have something. Maybe they do. But is that a new lap record? Is it a new lap record? What is the fastest lap here at Canada? But Hamilton seems to be comfortable. Seems to be comfortable in the car. Not often we see that. Not often we see that. As Ricciardo goes third fastest, 7 tenths off of Lewis Hamilton. Big thank you for everyone tuning in to the end of this FP3 session, guys. If you could hit the like and subscribe button, yeah, it'd be much appreciated. Let's get this stream. I don't know how many likes we've got on this stream. Have we got over 100 likes on this stream? It'd be much appreciated if you could let me know. I don't have that information to hand. 110 is the quali lap record. Okay, race lap record is a 113. Okay. Yeah, quali, I still expect to see the other drivers, but you still don't know the fuel that they're running. But Carlos Sainz is on his out lap, Charles Leclerc. So let's keep an eye on Charles Leclerc. He's now on an actual lap here. I'm not sure if he's had his first sector affected by Magnussen at all, but let's keep an eye on his first sector, as it's not fastest. Lewis Hamilton did a 20.2 in the first sector. It's 2 tenths faster than anyone else at the moment, guys. That is pretty good. 157 likes. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, guys. If you could hit the subscribe button, we're trying to get up to 25,000 subs. I'll let you guys know tomorrow whether we achieve that. But thank you to everyone tuning in. Yes, doing this remotely this weekend. And to see 1,400 of you in here is really good. So, yeah, big thank you, guys. And appreciate you all for coming back. We'll be back for qualifying later on in a few hours' time. And then, of course, the race tomorrow. I'm really excited for quali now. So... Lewis, yeah, what's that calling out? If Lewis isn't strong in quali now, there's something fishy going on. Yeah. 12.5 is genuinely fast. I think so. Perez is out. Yep, Perez is out. Right. So Leclerc only does a 113.3. So Ferrari are sandbagging. So is Piastri. And Norris is also sandbagging as well. He made a mistake in the first sector, it seems, which is why he is slow. This will not be a quick time from Lando Norris. As he had to back out. So still yet to see the true pace of the Ferrari. I still think we get to see true pace, of course, from the Red Bull, Ferrari and the McLarens. Do not expect to see them 7 tenths of a second off of the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton come qualifying, as Perez only does a 113.6 also. So yeah, they've definitely got a lot of fuel still in the car. But also there could be an element of drag They could be running different setups, setting the car up for wet weather conditions rather than dry weather conditions. This is the dilemma the teams have to deal with here, because we are expecting a wet qualifying session and potentially a dry race or an intermittent race tomorrow on Sunday. So, yeah, we'll see. And I see everyone coming out. Yeah, it is, Taco. It is so. The Williams is putting up numbers. Yeah, so the Williams, I think last year Alex Albon was strong here. They set Williams have always been very quick on low downforce tracks, or tracks that require low downforce setups. And Alex Albon just makes that car really wide. And it looks like it's going to be the same again here this weekend. The likes of Alpine, the likes of Aston, the likes of that midfield fighting for those last couple of points in the top 10, they really need to qualify ahead of the Williams, because otherwise I think they're going to be tough to pass even with DRS. So yeah, they definitely are kind of, I mean, you're not going to see Red Bull, McLaren and Ferrari 7 to 8 tenths off of a Mercedes, are you, in qualifying? No way, Jose. No way. Traffic too, yeah, traffic also has affected them, so, but a lot of the fuel as well, where a lot of straight line speed is required here. If you're running more fuel, then yeah, that's really going to affect you. It affects your lap times. Lewis says he's fast in practice but slow in qualifying. Well, this is it. This is what Connor just mentioned, is that if Lewis Hamilton is slow come qualifying, and especially slower than his teammates, it will fuel the conspiracy theories even more that something quite not right is happening in between practice sessions to qualifying for Lewis Hamilton compared to his teammates. Because, yeah, a little bit odd. He's comfortably been quicker than George Russell throughout the running that we've had here this weekend. I know we had limited running yesterday, so which you'd kind of expect. Lewis has won here 7 times. He likes this circuit, feels confident here. So we'll see. But at the moment, so Zhou's car hasn't been able to be repaired in time for the rest of this session. So not looking good for Zhou Guanyu. But Bottas, who's also gone well here in the past, up there in P11. But yeah, this order is going to be massively jumbled up come qualifying. But the highlight to take from this is that Hamilton does look like he's got good pace. I think that's about it, really. The rest of it is all a bit still yet to figure out who's fastest. As Piastri does go a 13.2 and Verstappen goes there with a 13.1, which I missed. So 200 likes. Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this FP3 session. So if you're just joining us, of course, practices are practices. But the highlight really is that Zhou Guanyu did bring out the red flag for a very brief period of time at the start of the session as he lost control of the car through turn 1, entering turn 2. A bit of an odd mistake. He complained that the car has rear locking. I'm not sure. I couldn't see that on the TV coverage, but we'll see. We'll see if that is genuinely the case. But it did seem a bit of an odd place for him to spin. So that brought out the red flag while they removed that car. And then since then, we've just seen some long runs and we've got some quali runs at the end. But Lewis seems to be like the only driver who's properly taken fuel out of the car and wanting to build some proper confidence and shown kind of some true pace of any of the cars out there. Everyone's still kind of hiding some paces. I'm just watching footage of George Russell now being another driver to add to the list who's gone through turn 8. Lots of drivers, I think about half of the field have gone off through turn 8 at some point or another in the first 2 days here this weekend. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe there's yesterday it was the weather conditions in regards to the track being wet, but maybe there's a bit of gust of wind there that's catching them out. Drivers really struggling with the turning. Mankini. No one wants to see that, Finton. No one wants to see that. We'll keep it PG here. Trust Mercedes not sabotaging Lewis in quali. Yeah, we'll see, Mariam. We'll see. I think Lewis will beat George in qualifying this weekend. Well, if he doesn't, I think there's... it depends. It depends. If Russell beats Hamilton in qualifying and it's like half a tenth, like it's a couple of hundredths of a second, then that can arguably be down to, driver's performance. But if there is if Lewis is 2 tenths down on George, 1.5 tenths down, maybe without any driver errors come qualifying. Maybe there'll be more fuel to those rumours that something's being. I don't think they'd hamper Lewis, but yeah. I mean, have they both got the same new weekend on, new wing on this weekend? I think they do. I think they do now. So, but George 4 tenths back from Lewis Hamilton there on 9-lap old soft tyres. Lewis just trudging around at the moment. To be honest, he's not really setting any fast laps. He's got his good quick lap in. Seems to be doing some fast couple of first and second sector, or middle first sector, and then backing off, it seems. So as Charles Leclerc missed the Wall of Champions chicane through turn 13 and 14 as well. So oh my God, there was a real big moment with Logan Sargent and who was that? What car was that? And a Ferrari. Oh dear, was that Carlos Sainz? Was that Charles Leclerc? Who was that? That was very dangerous, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is a potential penalty or investigated there. What they haven't investigated it yet, I can see, but that was a big moment. He moved over the Ferrari. I don't know if it was Charles or Sainz. Moved over, just didn't see Logan Sargent, and there was nearly a 200-mile-an-hour crash there, pretty much down the back straight. We saw Sainz get a penalty here last year, didn't we, for impeding? So, yeah, the Ferrari drivers, unfortunately, at it again, as Verstappen showing a bit more pace there at the end, fastest in the last sector. But Logan Sargent, is he pulled over to the side, or is he in the pit lane? Looks like Logan Sargent's dot is pulled over. Oh, he's pulled over to the side as he's letting all these cars catch up. Oh, no, it was the end of the pit lane there. Apologies. But, yeah. Still have faith in the team, not me anyway. Well, yeah, I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, as we come to the end of this practice session, checkered flag has been thrown with Lewis Hamilton at the top of your timing sheets. Max Verstappen is second as he clipped the Wall of Champions as well as he went through that last lap. He, right rear, did what Alex Albon did, but not as much. Really threw up sparks there. With the right rear tyre touching the wall. That was very dramatic to see, but it seems like the car, he's got away with it there. 0 centimetres, too close to the wall is the graphic that's being shown on the TV right now. But yes, Hamilton first, guys. Hamilton first. Verstappen second. George Russell third. Stroll in fourth. What is this? Still... half a second pretty much off Lewis Hamilton's time. Piastri 5th, Ricciardo 6th, Norris 7th, Alonso 8th, Perez 9th, Leclerc 10th, Magnussen 11th, Sainz in there at 12th, Bottas 13th, Sargent 14th, Tsunoda 15th, Gasly 16th, Hulkenberg 17th, Albon 18th, 19th is Ocon, and Zhou in 20th after sticking in the barriers. And Albon, well, there's a bit of work to be done for those Williams mechanics as well, because he did definitely break the right rear suspension of that car after tagging the Wall of Champions. And well, that is it, guys. That is the end of this FP3. I feel like Lewis's time is it is relative. We still don't know the fuel that they've got in the car. I'd still be surprised to see the Mercedes up there in a dry condition when it comes to qualifying. But we are supposedly getting a wet qualifying this afternoon in Canada. So there's a yellow flag. Why is a yellow flag being thrown there? They're lining up to do their start-finish, do their starts. So I don't know why the marshals are throwing yellow flags there. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting qualifying, and we'll see who will be on pole position this afternoon. Who do you think in chat, guys? Who do you think is going to be on pole position? Let me know just before we end this stream. FP3, usual Merc is strong in practice, only in practice, yeah. So what is with Leclerc and Sainz and Ferrari in general? Yeah, we haven't seen true pace from the likes of McLaren, Red Bull and the Ferraris. They've been sandbagging, you could say, more fuel in the car, most definitely. So we'll see. Traffic, of course, played a factor as well in probably a lot of these drivers' times. So they could have been quicker, but they weren't. So yeah, take this with a pinch of salt. Even Lewis Hamilton fans, unfortunately, we've been here before, guys. We've been here before. Lewis Hamilton, very good in practice sessions or in practice free. and then when it comes to qualifying, something goes wrong. So yeah, we'll see. Lando, you hope Piastri, Stroll pole, Stroll ahead of Alonso. I still think Mercedes and Aston Martin will be hoping for rain this afternoon, which I think it will be for qualifying. But yeah, it's definitely. I don't think they've got the pace to beat Red Bull, McLaren, and Ferrari. I think they'll put it out the bag in a dry qualifying session. Rain will throw up some anomalies, I think. A Stuffeyy pole, no chance. I'm too old and I'm too fat to fit in an F1 car. Too wide. I'm going to be streaming qualifying. Yes, Arsenal, I'm definitely going to be streaming qualifying. That is in qualifying is... apologies, let me just get my bearings of time zones. That is in 2.5 hours time, guys. Qualifying is on in 2.5 hours time. I'll be going live probably just a few minutes before that because I have to wait for the data because of being on a single laptop. I don't go live as early as I'd like to, but it is only for this weekend. But yeah, big thank you to everyone for tuning in to this FP3. Hopefully we get a good qualifying this afternoon. We saw last year. If you wanna have a bit of light viewing and know what to expect for a wet qualifying in Canada, go and watch last year's qualifying session. It was dramatic. Max Verstappen still stuck it on pole in the end with a great lap, but we had a drying circuit. We had Fernando Alonso had a really good performance as well. We could see some drivers we don't expect to see in that top 10, and we could see some shockers. But yes, Lewis Hamilton, P1 there, the fastest lap of a 1:12.5. Does seem to be that he feels confident round here, has been comfortably faster than his teammate in the running that we had, just limited running we had yesterday and in this practice session. But yes, history tells us it might not be the same come qualifying. So we'll see. But yeah, big thank you everyone. If you could hit the like and subscribe button on your way out of this stream, it'd be much appreciated. Turn your notifications on. I'm going to set up the stream for the qualifying so you can go and wait in there, in that waiting room, basically in chat amongst yourselves, and we'll be live in a few hours time for what is going to be another great qualifying session here at Montreal. So yeah, have a lovely rest of have a nice couple 2.5 hours. I'm going to go grab something to eat, a couple of more drinks, and we'll meet up at in 2.5 hours time. So we'll see you then. Bye.